Hello student friends. Today we can explain about the feedback circuits. In last session we explained about the transistor, its applications and hybrid parameters. So in this session I'll explain about the feedback circuit, what do you mean feedback and types of feedback and gain with feedback and advantages of the feedback circuit. Now first I'll explain what is feedback. The process by which a fraction of output energy is injected back to the input is called feedback. Means part of the output is again given back to the input, and that process is called the feedback. Depending upon the effect of feedback signal, there are two types of feedback. One is positive feedback and another one is negative feedback. Now first you can say about the positive feedback. So this is a simple circuit or block diagram I shown for the positive feedback. So this is your input signal. After amplification you can get the output signal here, but part of the output is again feedback to the input. So part of the or fraction of the output is again given back to the input. Now in positive feedback, if the feedback energy that is voltage or current is applied to increase the input signal and it is in phase with the input signal, is called positive feedback. So this is feedback signal and this feedback signal is in phase with the input, and this is called the positive feedback. This positive feedback produces excessive distortion and hence it is not used in amplifier circuit, but this type of positive feedback circuit or positive feedback is used in oscillator circuit. So this is about the positive feedback. Now I can see the block diagram for negative feedback here. So negative feedback, if the feedback energy is so applied as to reduce the amplifier input and it is out of phase by 180 degree, is called negative feedback. Now this is your input signal, you got your output after amplifier. So fraction again you feed back to the input, but the whatever the signal or whatever the energy you got from the output, which is 180 degree out of phase. So feedback signal is out of phase through 180 degree, and this process is called what? The negative feedback. So the advantage of this negative feedback is it reduces distortion, it gives stability in gain, reduces noise and increases the bandwidth. Hence this type of feedback is used in amplifier circuit, but positive feedback circuit is used in oscillator circuit. Now principles of feedback amplifier, or you can see the general expression for gain for feedback amplifier. Now this is a block diagram. So here is the input and now you got V0 dash is the output. So fraction is again given to the input, that fraction you can write this beta V0 dash, and then after supplying this fraction of the output, the input becomes what? Vi dash, that is again amplifier. So for an ordinary amplifier, that is one without feedback, if we calculate gain, so gain is nothing but what? It is output voltage to the input voltage. So that is you can calculate A. So A is gain without feedback. So A is equal to, you can calculate output voltage by input voltage, that is V0 by Vi. If V0 is the output and Vi is the input. The general theory of feedback can be explained with the help of the block diagram which is shown in figure. So the feedback amplifier has two parts, amplifier and feedback circuit. This is amplifier and this is feedback circuit. This feedback circuit usually consists of passive components. So passive components are nothing but resistor, capacitor and inductor. And fraction, suppose beta is the fraction of the output, is feedback So fraction is again feedback to the input through the feedback circuit. Let V0 dash be the output voltage with feedback. So this is output voltage after feedback is given to the input. Therefore, after feedback the input voltage becomes what I write here. So input voltage is Vi dash. Now this Vi dash can be taken as, so Vi plus or minus beta into V0 dash here. So depending upon whether the feedback is positive or negative, you can write this plus or minus. So beta is taken as positive for positive feedback and negative for negative feedback. Now if we take for positive feedback, so you can substitute here the gain, that is V0 dash is equal to, you can write A into input voltage plus fraction of the output, that is feedback voltage. So this is fraction you got from the output. So this is the input without feedback, and therefore total output can be taken as A into Vi plus beta V0 dash. So A is gain without feedback. Now after simplifying, what will get? So voltage gain of the amplifier with feedback is given by V0 by Vi. So by simplifying this one, sorry, it is V0 dash by V0 dash, it is V0 dash by Vi. So you can get A upon 1 minus A beta, and therefore AF is equal to, you can calculate A by 1 minus A beta. This is for positive feedback. So 1 minus A beta is less than 1 if AF is, A is gain with feedback and A without feedback. The positive feedback increase the amplifier gain. So for negative feedback, the feedback fraction is taken as beta minus, that is minus beta, and now substitute, the gain can be calculated as A upon 1 plus A beta. Since 1 minus A beta is greater than 1, and therefore AF is less than A, means gain with feedback is less than gain without feedback. Therefore negative feedback reduces the amplifier gain. There the A beta is called loop gain and beta is called feedback ratio. So this is the expression for the gain with feedback depend upon whether it is positive feedback or negative feedback. Now depending upon this one, you can calculate or you can explain the advantages of this negative feedback and what is the difference between the positive feedback and negative feedback. The following are the advantages of this negative feedback. So negative feedback becomes highly stabilized gain, reduces noise level, it increases bandwidth, it increases input impedance and decreases output impedance, and it gives less distortion. Now you can write the difference between negative feedback and positive feedback. In negative feedback, or the input signal and feedback are 180 out of phase, but in positive feedback, input signal and feedback signal both are in phase, that is 0 or 360 degree. A voltage gain for negative feedback amplifier, that is given by AV is equal to upon 1 plus A beta. It is not explained here, it is not properly written here. Negative feedback increase stability, whereas the positive feedback amplifier decrease here. It gives negative feedback reduces the distortion, whereas in case of positive feedback it increases distortion. So negative feedback the bandwidth increases, whereas in positive feedback the bandwidth decreases, and hence the negative feedback used in amplifier circuit, whereas positive feedback is used in oscillatory circuit. So in this way I can briefly explain how the positive feedback and negative feedback can be explained, and what are the advantages of positive feedback and negative feedback, and how the positive feedback act as an oscillator used in oscillator circuit and negative feedback is used in amplifier circuit. So thank you.